Hey guys, it's Bailey. Welcome back to the channel and thanks for tuning in today, I guess, to watch a $5 haul, which as it sounds is basically me talking about a haul I recently did from Ulta of products that are $5 or under. Me wanting to do this kind of came from a series that I already do called Top 5 and Under 5, where sometimes, ideally seasonally, I will do videos where I talk about my top 5 favorite products under $5 to kind of help you transition through the seasons, like whether they're the latest products, an affordable way to hop on trends. That's where I really like to zero in on some great affordable makeup options. However, with the most recent kind of 1 to 2 that I've made in that category, it's been really hard to find products under $5, both in my stash that I haven't already talked about because I do like to keep things fresh here, but also at the store. Like I'll go to the store to kind of refresh my super affordable stash, and there aren't a lot there. I went to Ulta in person, I went to drugstores, and there isn't a whole lot in the way, especially color cosmetics. You can get your Q-tips and your nail polish remover, a couple tools here and there, but for the most part, color cosmetics are getting up there in price. So I went to the Ulta website. They, make it super easy to search by price there, knocked it down to $5 and under, and this is all the stuff that I got from that haul. Now, if you're new to the channel, the way I like to do hauls is actually try the products before talking them to you, so I can kind of give you mini reviews in addition to telling you what I got. You'll see some demos in this video, but I will also be doing a tutorial later in the week or sometime around when I post this that's like a under $5 makeup tutorial, or maybe I'll have to name that differently. Basically talking about all these, like using all these products in another tutorial, even though I will also show you how to get like the eyes and the base face kind of thing going on in my look today using the products that I have. I want to do a separate one because there are a lot of options here. So let's go ahead and dive in, starting with the product that I'm not sure is going to make it through this video, and that is these lashes. For as much as I love them, they are the Ardell Glamour 113 lashes. Love how big and beautiful and wispy these are. They give you that really nice flare out of the corner, but the glue that I'm using is not my best friend today. It's just the Duo Clear White, and it's like taking forever to dry. So if at some point in the middle of this video you find I don't have these on, that is why, because they are just falling off and like not working for me today. So I need some new lash glue. Maybe that's in the next $5 haul. But anywho, pick those up, and so with that, let's go ahead and get started with the eyes. I got a couple of different eyeshadows, mostly because I was interested in seeing what palettes, if there were any palettes I could find that were under $5, because there are often a lot of singles, but when it comes to refreshing a makeup collection or just adding something new, I always like to add a variety of shades, not just like a single shadow, although I do have an amazing single shadow to talk about. So let's go ahead and start with the palettes, the first of which is one from the Ulta brand. This is the Essential 6-piece eyeshadow palette, and it's full of these fun, muted, cool toned neutrals. You have like silvers and pewters and deep grays, cool chocolate brown. There are 2 mattes in here. You get this matte cream down here, and then this matte, the darker chocolate that I was talking about earlier, and then 4 shimmery shades. Overall, really impressed with the quality of these shadows. Very smooth. The glitter or shimmer is a little chunky, like it's really not satin or metallic. There are good chunks, as you'll be able to see here up close and in the swatches, but overall I'm really impressed with the variety for under $5. And the Ulta brand is one that in general I think is underrated and not a lot of people are talking about it. I was hunting around there for products that I figured would be under $5, and there were shockingly few. So really wanted to hop on this one, and glad I did, because like I said, I'm just really impressed with the overall quality of the shadows and the diversity in what is such a small compact. They really give you a lot to work with in here, whether you want to go all light for the daytime, really smoke it out, or anywhere in between. Next up, kind of switching gears to an eyeliner, because this is what I used first for my look today. This is from JCat Beauty. It's hashtag MOTD, or Makeup of the Day, waterproof slide on pencil for eyes. This is the shade Bronze. It is, even though it looks like an automatic liner, it is one that you will need to sharpen, and this guy is dry as anything. It's a very firm formula. So even if you were to use, I use it as an all over base today. As you can see, I apply it starting at my lash line, but then I really try and smoke it up towards the crease, thinking maybe I could use it as an eyeshadow base and blend it out with my fingers, kind of warm it up with the natural heat of my hands, help it kind of thin and make it a little bit more movable, which didn't really help. So overall, very dry texture. Even if you're not using it as an all over eyeshadow base, it was just tugging at my upper lash line as I was trying to draw a nice bold line. even across there. However, I do have a tip for thinning this out, although I can't testify to how it'll affect the longevity of any shadows you put over top. But to help thin it out, I just put a couple of these Cover FX Custom Infusion Drops. This is the E Chamomile, but really any you have I'm sure will work. I put a little bit on the end of this pencil just to help make that formula a little bit more emulsive. Is that the word I'm looking for? Thin it out a little bit to help it, you know, blend a little bit better across the lid, and it certainly did it, but like I said, this is literally the first time I've done that, so I'm not really sure how it's going to affect the longevity of my eyeshadow, but overall, I would not recommend this guy. I think there are other, even though they're not under $5, there are other eyeliners out there from the drugstore that give you amazing wear without breaking the bank, like the L'Oreal Silkaseam, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Those are amazing eyeliners from the drugstore, and so creamy, so pigmented, one swipe and you're done, and this guy just doesn't. Over that though, I am wearing more products from JCat Beauty. These are eyeshadow, not that one. I'm wearing this eyeshadow, not quad, it's a five pan Fab 5 eyeshadow palette, and the one I'm wearing here is Bronze Creature, naturally over top. I'm wearing the lightest shade in my inner corner, this light shimmery cream, the second lightest shade on my brow bone, then I went into the second deepest shade and put that in my crease, and then I went in with the deepest. Has more of a warmer undertone than I realized prior to applying it to my eyes, but I really like the way this look turned out, but applied that deepest shade to my outer corner. Really impressed with the way these guys blended. I wish there were more texture variety, kind of like the Ulta palette has a mix of matte and shimmer. This is all shimmer, so if you're not, and it's not in your face shimmer like the Ulta palette, there's no glitter. It really is a true kind of satiny, well, I'd say a downright shimmer finish in all of these textures. So it's not going to be right for everyone, and I would have liked to see a little bit more variety in that way, but for the most part, this is a really surprisingly awesome palette. And then the other palette I have less experience with, but I wanted to give it a try because it's so hard to find these bold eyeshadow shades in the drugstore, let alone for under $5. So this is the Mysterious Trove palette, and overall similarly impressed with this one. And there are some matte, well, one matte option in here, so you have a little bit more variety. It's in this orangey type shade. And then last for the eyes is a single from the brand Catrice, which I feel is so underrated, especially for people here in the US that don't realize Catrice, which is that they a German brand? I forget where they're based, but it's not in the US. They don't realize this is available in Ulta, and so I picked up this liquid metal eyeshadow in the shade Under Treasure. I'm not sure what that means, but it's called Under Treasure. It's this amazing pewter shade. I recommend applying with your fingers, that's what I did here, and using a base if you really want like intense chromatic payoff like you see here. Definitely use it over a nice base, give it something to adhere to and apply with your finger like I did. Otherwise, it actually comes off as a really nice satiny finish if you don't wear it over if you don't wear it over an intense base. It comes off really beautiful and satiny, so you don't need to worry about it looking, you know, super bold like this on your eyelid. It's pretty versatile in that way. I would say it's a drier texture, like it's kind of smooth to the touch, but then once you shear it out, it's a little powdery, but I didn't experience any fallout from this guy. If there is one thing in this entire haul I will be purchasing a couple shades of, it's these. Next up are brows. This is something that a lot of you guys told me to give a try after I used the Wet n Wild brow mascara in my latest top 5 under $5 video. A lot of you guys recommended this as well. This is the Essence Make Me Brow, and it's eyebrow gel mascara. I got the shade Soft Brownie Brows though, and I would say I need to go one shade lighter, but online that shade looked a little bit too deep. So just in case you're wondering, if you're looking at the shades online, maybe wanting to order, or maybe even in store, I consider myself to have, you know, lighter brown hair, but the light brown brows are a little bit too soft taupey. They kind of wash me out, and so I find that I need to have some sort of powder or pomade underneath and then use this as more of a tinted setting gel as opposed to just using it as a standalone product like I do with my Wet n Wild brow mascara. Overall though, I have to say the primary difference between those two is that the Wet n Wild has a little bit more hold. It really deposits a little bit more product. This feels like it's barely there, which might be great for some people, but I find that I like the kind of hold and the sort of volume that the Wet n Wild builds on my brows. So just a minor difference. Really, this gets the job done, but I do find that I prefer to have other products help me out when I'm using this, like in the way of filling in my brows or an extra kind of setting, you know, gives it a little bit more heft to the brow to fill them in. but for the most part this gets the job done, and it's so budget friendly. Now on to the face products. I have two in this haul. This one's from Essence. Again, it's the contour powder, and this, it actually, so it has a bronzer and highlighter. It's the first of these I've seen. It looks very similar to the Makeup Forever, which I haven't tried as a means of comparison, but just in looking at my viewfinder now, it looks really strikingly similar. But this is the first of these I can remember seeing in the drugstore, where it's like one palette or one pan combo bronzer highlight. Am I missing? Maybe Physicians Formula does, because they have a ton of bronzers, but I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. This just caught my fancy because of that. I got the shade Light, which is a good match for me. It's a matte bronzer, so I went in with my Sigma F25 face brush. I love the way this is tapered to really get that, especially if you are using this as a true contour. This tapered tip really helps get in the contour of your cheeks. Otherwise, I personally like more of a bronzer approach, where I go in there with more broad strokes to just kind of get an overall bronzed-ish contoured kind of look. And then I actually used the same brush for the highlight and dusted that on the tops of my cheekbones. This is an amazing highlight for those that love a good subtle highlight. It's very flattering, very satiny, lit from within, I would say. Definitely not your seen from outer space highlights that I know I'm a fan of, but I realize not everybody else is, and it's certainly not appropriate for everyone in the daytime. I think this is a great daytime alternative. Naturally, obviously, that's not gonna break the bank. And the last face powder is a blush, once again from JCat Beauty. This is the Love Struck Glam Glow Powder in the shade 105 Pumpkin. It's just a really peachy, pretty peachy blush. Once again, I'm wearing it today. It's like a hint deeper and more orangey peach than the contour that I use. So in hindsight, I wish I would have gotten more of a berry or a pink or something like that. But part of what drew me to this, and I hope you can still see it, but there was a beautiful berry overspray, like shimmery berry overspray here. Well, at the time I thought it was baked through the pan, but it turned out to be an overspray. So it's in the shape of a cat for JCat Beauty, and one swipe of it, I love the way it looked on my cheeks combined with the peachy orange or the pumpkin shade in here. But you get one swipe, that's literally it. So then I had to go and even out each side of my face, because one side had like the beautiful, you know, berry, and then the other was just the peach. So this is not my favorite. I would try more shades, but part of the appeal with this for me was that you got two shades, and one was a really beautiful, you know, intensely shimmery shade. So not my favorite. Overall though, the longevity of both of these products, it's gonna depend on the kind of base you have, but I've noticed them lasting really, really nicely. They don't blend into any of the bases that I have. Sometimes, I don't know if you've ever had this happen, where you put it on and then, I don't know if it's your skin, the foundation you're wearing, or the product itself, that just like, it's gone by the end of the day, and not streaky gone, but it just like melted into your face. I don't know where it went. Haven't experienced that with these, but that could also be due to the base that I've been using, although I have been switching it up a little bit. But like I said, that could vary widely depending on what you use before using these. Last are the lips. First up is Catrice's Volumizing Lip Booster. This is actually what I use to kind of prime my lips before applying the rest of my makeup today. It has a faint pepperminty, tingly taste, very mild taste, mostly that signature peppermint tingle that a lot of lip boosters have, but certainly not intense, and I personally didn't notice it making a difference. It has a glossy finish, kind of a milky finish though, so I don't know that it would be an everyday kind of throw on wherever you are kind of gloss for me, just because it takes my skin tone down a step or two, and it just kind of washes me out a little bit. But overall, I don't really have strong feelings one way or the other. I didn't notice serious results in using this, but it didn't dry my lips out. It kept them feeling comfy. It's just not a shade that I would wear every day as kind of a pretty lip shade with the additional, you know, plumping benefits. It's just so for me. Kind of the same can be said for this next product, which is from Essence, and this is the liquid lipstick in the shade Peach Party. It's one of these guys, and I got this thinking it was going to be like the liquid lipsticks everybody else and their brother has been coming out with lately, and that is not the case. This is literally like a really like an opaque lip gloss. It's a cream finish opaque peach lip gloss. It's super comfortable on the lips, but it doesn't dry down, and so that really shocked me the first time I used it, because I thought, this is not like any liquid lipstick I have ever anticipated. But despite being opaque, it doesn't sink into those fine lines and creases. It stays really nicely, evenly distributed across the lips, so that's a bonus coming from an affordable product, because that can be hard to get from my personal experience from even high-end products. So it's nice that it doesn't seek into fine lines, but just don't go get this thinking it's gonna be like a, you know, really long-lasting liquid lipstick, because it's like a gloss, and as a result, it lasts like a gloss does. You know, depending on how much you're eating, drinking, snacking, whatever you're doing, it's gonna transfer on things, and I noticed it lasting, you know, 2.5 to 3 hours maybe. The other thing about this, not bad, but I always forget to talk about the like scent and texture of things for some reason with the products. And so it has kind of a light sugary scent, but it's really not, it doesn't have a strong taste to it at all, which is great. And then texture wise, it is a somewhat sticky formula because it has that high shine glossy finish. You're gonna get some of the stickiness that goes with the gloss, but with a mix of the opacity that comes with the lipstick. So that's that product. Those are all the products that I got in my under $5 haul. Why was that so hard to say? I'd love to hear what products you guys are using and loving under $5. Maybe there are some that I totally missed from Ulta, or where you like to get your affordable makeup if it's not Ulta, or if it's a drugstore, if it's some other little hidden gem store. Definitely let me know in the comments below. But besides that, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye, guys.